Asset management industry in Africa is indeed evolving, and one country that has shown strength and of course viability in this sector is South Africa. In this presentation, Mr. Rob Dower, Chief Operating Officer of Allan brings to perspective the growth and the various transformations of the asset management industry in South Africa.
Of course, really what this shows is massive survivorship bias. So South Africa is really the only developing market that's here. And the reason that it's here is because a lot of others have blown up. So you say, well, South Africa's been lucky. We have a long history of massive equity returns. And that's different from Argentina simply because we've been lucky. For 100 years we've managed to avoid catastrophes. And that's really, and because I'm an ex-consultant, I have to give you the answer at the beginning. That's really the first half of my answer. What I think you can learn from the South African buy side is that you need time. And South Africa has been lucky enough to have a lot of time. You need time to build institutions and to build technical expertise. You need people to gradually evolve. Participants like independent managers in South Africa needed to evolve after life insurance companies have done their work. You need to avoid catastrophes like other countries where asset management is really subject to confiscation and other things that can happen that really are outside of the industry's control. And then you need fortunate weather. And certainly the last 10 years have been pretty fortunate weather for asset management in South Africa. We've had a wonderful tailwind of commodity prices combined with cheap global money. And that's contributed a lot to what looks like the success of the industry. So the first of my two lessons is that you just need time. South Africa is successful in asset management because we're lucky enough to be given time. So that's not a very useful lesson. The second lesson that I have relates to this. So if you look at the global competitive index, South Africa has a lot of problems with developing markets. Some of the problems are mirrored in Nigeria as well. Really hard to get over. The unemployment, real barriers to employment in South Africa at the moment. Education is difficult for us. But we have remarkably high standing on pillar 8 of this global competitiveness index, which relates to financial market development. So we're third in the world. We say, gee whiz, even if you have lots of time, you don't have as much time as Switzerland. How can South Africa possibly be higher up than Switzerland, for instance? Or many of the other developed markets that have been going for centuries in financial market. How could we have, and this is, I think, the second lesson. I'll expand it through in a second. The second lesson is that you can leapfrog. And many of the things that determine success in financial services reward newcomers over long-standing players. The first is technology, which is obvious. So if you're implementing the latest technology, it's a lot easier to do that on starting off from a zero base. In South Africa, the big life insurers still run mainframes that they put in place in the 70s, and their IT costs are pulled over sideways by that compared to newcomers like ourselves. The second is regulation. There's no vested interest if you're starting off afresh. Getting the right regulations in place is much easier, not only to contend with people lobbying for no change. And then, of course, skills. As you can see in this room, it's quite easy once things get going to attract skills from overseas because skills in financial services are not like many other skills. These are internationally transferable skills that we're talking about attracting. So once you get going, you can leapfrog other places because you attract the best people into a country where there are opportunities. So these two, really, this is my answer. I think the things that determine success in the financial services and asset management are partly to do with building a garden, which takes many, many years of careful pruning. And I don't mean a tropical garden, I mean a kind of Japanese-style garden, which you have to carefully nurture over many years. And partly they have to do with having frogs in that garden. So that's my two pictures.
It's day 2 of the 3rd Annual Investors Conference powered by FBN Capital. The focus of today is asset management, and we have here today to discuss on the perspective of asset management in South Africa, and I believe what we can learn from that. Mr. Rob Dower, he is the Chief Operating Officer, Allan. It's great to have you, Mr. Dower.
Thanks for having me. Now, South Africa has been rated for its viable asset management in management. Now, let's look first at the evolution. You talked about that in your presentation. You said that it has evolved and it has been over time and pace of change. Now, through this process, what are the things Nigeria can learn, and can you share about that evolution process of asset management in South Africa?
Yeah, so maybe the first thing is that these things do take time, and that the development of institutions, regulatory institutions, market institutions like the stock exchange, industry players, big life insurance companies, independent asset managers, all of these things have slowly developed over time, and each one has developed better than it would have done if the other hadn't been there before. So in each case, we're kind of standing on the shoulders of the previous decade. So the first lesson is it takes a long time to develop a good asset management industry. That's not such a useful lesson for Nigeria, but it is true. And maybe patience is an important aspect of getting it right. Then the second lesson is that there's quite a lot of elements of a great asset management industry that allow you to leapfrog a little bit. So despite the need for patience, technology allows you to leapfrog in asset management because there's no physical product in the same way as it does in telecommunications. The formulation of the best regulation allows you to leapfrog because vested interests sometimes hold regulators back from doing the right thing. So if you're starting from scratch, maybe you would design regulation in a way that's better than what we have in South Africa. And then the third is skills. The skills allow you to leapfrog a bit as well because a country with lots of potential and with new opportunities can attract the best finance skills in the world, and those skills are quite easily transferred. So South Africa has a diaspora a bit like Nigeria does, and as the industry has developed, people have come back to work in South Africa that previously were internationally respected in places like London and New York. And I'm sure the same thing is happening here in Lagos.